What are you at? Paul from Wicked Acorn. This one's been a long time coming. We've been working on this one for a long time, and we got a special guest here today, of course, because this man is the man of the hour on this video. This is Rick Ainsworth, Richard Ainsworth on YouTube. If you're looking for his YouTube channel, it's Richard Ainsworth. So I'll put a link to Rick's channel as well. And this is a video about the.
Dunham Massey prisoner of war camp.
It is
Yeah.
indeed.
So, you know, we all went there as kids and played around there, and never really understood what had happened. The golf course next door. We just see this nice National Trust buildings and grounds, and it's a great place to go. A lot of people went there Boxing Day as well for a Boxing Day walk. But what history that is held at the golf course across the road. I first came across it when I was researching, because me and Paul looked for local history stories to talk about, and I was going through and I found an amazing piece of work by a guy called David Miller. I think he's part of Altrincham Historical Society, and it's a very in-depth illustration about the Dunham Massey prisoner of war camp. Private individuals there, stories of football, the stories of bands. I even looked for where the old Bavarian castles were. One was near Densel Gardens, which was across the road, in Dunham Road, and there was also one, I believe, down Charcoal Lane. And I just got lost in that, and I thought to myself, Paul, that would make a great video, because I used to get the work out. I work in retail, and I show customers, did you know what was there? And it was like, no, I don't. I didn't know anything about it. And we're not going back too far in history. It's not like medieval. This is 1930s, 1940s. And it's how it's been erased from people's memories. And we just thought, we'll just do a short video on it. And, thank you for Trafford Libraries, and also, again, David Miller for his work in there. If you ever look on Google, have a look for David Miller, prisoner of war camp, and it also does lots more history around Altrincham and Hale. But I would suggest to have a look at that whenever you can. But I think we did this sometime late spring, was it, Paul?
I think it was in June. Yeah, I think it was just before summer.
Yeah,
just before the solstice.
Yeah, and you see this lovely green part of Cheshire, and you're not realising what actually happened there, and just the decent way that we looked after our prisoners of war, especially the Italians and German prisoners of war. I've been looking forward to this. I've been prompting Paul for many months. You're going to do this prisoner of war camp one. You're going to do this prisoner of war camp video. And he says, I'm working on it, Rick. I'm working on it, because, the amount of time that it takes to edit, go through it, research, trying to get, the facts, and trying to condense it into a short video takes a bit of time. So I believe that Paul's done it justice.
It's not a short video.
Is it not? I've not seen it yet, by the way.
Rick has not seen it, so this is the world premiere of this. And good evening, Astrex and 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're first time here, this is a live stream, so leave a comment, and we can answer any questions, or we can attempt to answer, but we will see your question if you put it in the live chat there. So leave a comment, leave a question, anything you have in mind you can put there, within good taste, of course.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, if you've got anything you can add to the story.
Oh, absolutely, because there's already been a couple of comments on Facebook, and I wish I had seen one of them before I put the video together, because somebody, and we'll look at it after, somebody posted a picture of the Bavarian castle that the German prisoners built. That's a much better copy of the picture than I have in the video. So we'll look at that here tonight as well. Uh, we should get into it because
Yeah.
it's 40 minutes long, and if you're going to watch this video with us, this is definitely not the best way to watch it, because anybody that's been here following along our live streams, it's my computer gear is just so antiquated. I can't. It just doesn't play well. So the best way to watch this is um, after, when it's on the channel, posted on the channel, because it's going to stutter and not play well. It'll probably be video and audio out of sync, but you watch it with us. This is the world premiere, and let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah, jump in the comments and
Please,
let us know what's going on. And it's really important for people to comment on this and leave comments on the YouTube channel so it stays with the video. It's great to do it on Facebook, but doing it here, it stays with the video. And this is probably only phase 1 of this video, because hopefully some people will come out with some more information that we can put in here. Anyway, let's get to it.
Well, Paul, off for another jaunt again.
Yeah, we're here again.
Okay, thank you.
Where are we today?
Well, we're heading up to Dunham Massey golf course. It's of the Cheshire, kind of like a little bit elevated here, so you can look across the plains. You can actually see central Manchester from here. You see the towers, but it's just a lovely start of the summer. Everything's looking green, and we're just going to go to a place that quite a few people know about, but a lot of people have forgotten in their history. It's Dunham Massey golf course here, and it holds a hidden secret, and a lot of people used to live in close confinement in here. Coming up to the entrance now.
This is one of those places that looks as though it has never had an interesting thought in its life. A perfectly ordinary patch of England, doing its best to appear forgettable. The sort of place where you might happily spend a few hours knocking a golf ball about, without ever suspecting you are standing on anything historical at all. But during the Second World War, this was not a place of leisure. A military base, functional, temporary, and designed for a war that had not yet been won. When the war finally began to turn, this place changed purpose. The Americans left, and in their place came men who had been fighting against them. Time has a way of softening things, softening memories, and sometimes even enemies. The question is whether we're now far enough away to see them not as the enemy, but simply as people. For them, the war was over. On the outskirts of countless rural towns, there was a camp, and this place was no exception. Welcome to 189 Prisoner of War Camp, locally known as the Dunham Massey POW camp. Ever played golf?
I'm probably the world's worst golfer. I prefer going metal detecting, so I use the swing but use it for metal detecting. But one thing you notice with these gates is how wide they are.
It is quite wide, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was a nice substantial gate going all the way across here. And it's got its own one-way system going in and out. And the reason why we're here today is just to tell you a little bit about the history of this place at Altrincham. In 1943, in October, the government gave this land for use for American servicemen to base and prelude to go into Normandy. And I can imagine the trucks going down here, all with the troops on, all with the supplies, weapons, and station them in purpose-built huts here.
This is where they started the D-Day invasion.
All the plans were made for this particular group of American servicemen in collaboration with the Allies, and this place I think was selected purely and simply because of its rural location, and it can be easily secured, its perimeters, and was a highly secret place for what was being planned here, but they were being planned up and down the country for a combined invasion to the Normandy beaches. And I don't know, the people that went through these gates when they eventually left through these gates, did they ever go back to their families?
So that footage is not of the camp, but that's the kind of stuff that would have been going on there. And that's amazing, Helen. That is so true. The Germans and Italians that were kept here were treated much better than
100%, yeah.
Than our guys were treated over there. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was basically it was an open prison, and I've seen a couple of extracts in memoirs saying, I hope our troops over in Germany have been as treated as well as they're being treated here at Dunham, Massey. So we adhered to.
You say that in the video.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
The video is going to repeat yourself. I think you're going to say that here any second.
But if anyone else,
it's very, very true. They weren't treated as well, and I'm sorry to hear that, Helen, about your father. But yeah, and thanks to him. Let's get back to it.
As you know, Omaha was a very bloody battle, and a lot of troops were killed. Great American troops were killed there, and it's sad. And people here it probably happened, but you never know. But some of the viewers may know some personal stories of the soldiers that were based there or families back in America. Did they make it back from this base to Normandy, through France, into Germany? Did they make it back home to America? I don't know.
Wow. So they were doing training?
Training here. So, they worked with in collaboration with the British military. And as we all know, we know what happened. But what the individual stories for these people that were here. And, my heart goes out to them that never made it, the thousands of miles away from the home, fighting for a cause, to clear Europe, to make it a safer place for us also. I'm stood here because of the efforts these men and women played in this. I'm a free man, and I'm so grateful for what they did, and it tends to get forgotten through the generations.
It's 80, wasn't it? 80.
Yeah.
80 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's
1945.
Yeah, your grandfathers, your great grandfathers, everyone known that was. But you can imagine, sentry post site. Only certain people were going to be allowed in and out of here, and all around the perimeter would have been secured as well. So those have got some age to it.
I mean, it's a fence, but it's kind of ornamental, isn't it?
It is.
It keeps you out or in, but it's only, what, 4.5 feet high?
Yes, it would have been surrounded by a higher fence with barbed wire and made pretty impenetrable, as it needed to be, because it was a secure military site. And then later on.
So I wonder if that's a later thing or an earlier thing.
It's got some age to it. So I think it would have been when it was a military.
It's definitely not military, is what I'm getting at.
100% it's not. It's 100% not. Yeah.
So it's either guys or before.
Yeah.
So what's this building?
It's a private residence. So it's really nice.
Beautiful house.
Yeah. You know, cars or bikes are allowed along here. So one of the main reasons why we're down here is because, as some of the older residents will know, it was a prisoner of war camp.
So they are put through a screen. To begin with, selected Germans interrogate them and fill in their demobilization papers. Note this meek little man who looks like a clerk or a grocer. Here is his portrait in Luftwaffe uniform. Then all their thumbprints are taken for record, and they are stripped and examined for the SS mark tattooed under the left armpit. Then their past history and character is examined by our intelligence officers, German-speaking ex-commandos and parachutists. The majority of Germans get through this close examination and are demobilized. But every so often there appears one who is suspect or who is wanted, whose papers are too good or whose answers are not good enough. Rejected. Back to the cage.
That clip is so funny. It's that last scene. It goes back and forth between that guy with that music playing, crescendo of music and violins going, and it just goes back and forth between this guy. No dialogue, no sound, just the violins and the music playing, and it just goes back and forth with them speaking to each other. You can't hear what they're saying, so I trimmed that down quite a bit. It goes back and forth between them like 7 or 8 times, and we have no idea what they're saying unless you can read lips. That again is not footage of the camp here, but it is real footage, of course.
That's why I leave it to you, Paul. You know, I don't know where you find the time from to actually get that and get those clips. You know, just add a little bit of drama to it to make it more of a realism to actually what happened there.
It's fun adding that stuff. You know, puts it in context. You know, the guys looking for the tattoo because the SS had their blood type tattooed under their left arm, was it? He said in one of their armpits. Anyway, that was the tattoo. It wasn't like an SS tattoo, but the SS had their blood type tattooed under their arm.
Yeah, just keep your comments coming as well. So
yes, you know. Please do. Oh, that's great, Darren. Yep, that was important too. Music helped get us through the war, didn't it?
Did. And our own propaganda machine.
Yep. And Asterix Deb was on a frigate in the middle of the Atlantic. Yep. Good stuff. Keep the comments coming.
Yeah, and anything you want answering. And there'll be other bits and pieces we'll put in the video. So there are signs that people were incarcerated there, but that's going to come later in the video. So if you go in there, a dog walking or walking with the children, we're going to give you little clues to look for, and you know, it's just part of our history.
All right, here we go.
And there were a number of them dotted around this area. This one at Dunham Golf Course here. There was one about a mile away to my right, near the Carrington training ground, and quite a few around Cheshire, including Marbury Park, Warburton, Nantwich. There's quite a number of them that were set up purely and simply because as they invaded or went to take back the lands, we got prisoners of war. And what do you do with it? We complied with the Geneva Convention and brought the prisoners back and treated them well. Not like we saw across Europe, but it was we treated them fairly as prisoners of war under the Geneva Convention.
Geneva Convention, right? The rules of war.
Yeah.
They're pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like we've got war in Europe now, and that needs to come to an end. But a lot of them are not coming back. See, I always think about the women that were left after the Second World War and the bombings, having to bring up families on their own because the sons, fathers were all killed. So I can actually walk freely without any restriction, and you know, if there's any reason for it, and one of the greatest things you can have in life is freedom.
I think if you had to choose a prisoner of war camp to be in, it would be a British one.
Well, yeah, we'll go to talk a little bit later on how the prisoners weren't just kept in the camps. They came out to work in the fields and farms, even worked at Dunham Massey Hall, you know, the prisoners that they could trust because they came back. And I remember reading an article one of the German prisoners wrote was, I hope our countrymen are treating us the same, or if not better than we're treating here in England. And as we know, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I knew a guy who was in a Japanese prisoner of war camp, and they were not treated well.
I know.
At the, I don't remember what anniversary it was, but one of the anniversaries they were invited back. He's dead now, the guy. Seward was his name, and he wouldn't go back. He said, "I've seen enough of the Japanese people." But several of them, I think he was like 90 pounds when he was liberated.
So I'll always go to the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. I go 2 or 3 times a year in a place, the caravan site with lakes, so it's called Tattershall Lakes, and right there you've got the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. It's the only flight in Lancaster, and you see Spitfires, Hurricanes.
No, there are 2. We got one.
Oh yeah, you've got one. I forgot. In 2014, I saw it. So it came to Britain. They both flew together. So
That's right. Yeah,
saw it.
I would have liked to have seen that.
And we've also got Just Jane, who's another Lancaster, not far from
in work. She's almost done it, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, it's in Coningsby, where you've got the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and East Kirby. You've also got Just Jane, which is another Lancaster. I was there for half a day last year and watched it taxiing up to the runway. Eventually it's going to get its air wings, and it'd be great to see both Lancasters flying together, and it would be nice to see the Canadian Lancaster come back to Britain and see all 3 of them flying, because when you see them fly or you hear them approaching, you just stop and it's just just eyes to the sky.
Yeah, I remember seeing Vera is the Canadian one.
Yep.
And I didn't know anything about it happening. I guess there was some kind of air show somewhere. I didn't know about it at the time. But you hear that sound.
Yeah.
And I looked up. I'm like, that's a Lancaster.
I know.
It was amazing. And she was home then, because after the war, she was Coast Guard in Newfoundland.
Wow.
Up until 1963, I think. She was still working in The Coast Guard.
Yeah, I remember I arrived in Coningsby in 2014. I didn't actually know it was going to be there. And I saw these Canadian flags and all the shops and bunting across the road, and I thought, what's all this about? Because it was my first holiday up there. And then spoke to one of the locals, and he said the Lancaster, which is actually known as Papa Alpha 474, which is its call sign if you ever look on flight radar.
Okay.
And it was flying together with the Canadian line. And when I saw them, just that sound of, you know, I don't know, of defence, freedom, or just fighting back, and that's what it felt like. And yeah, it was a special moment, but there were thousands of enthusiasts looking at both Lancasters, and it was a great time. And I hope, you know, it's 11 years since they were there, and I hope that they come back again, and I hope Just Jane flies with them, so we have 3 Lancasters together.
Yeah. Any excuse to put Lancasters on the screen. Some great comments there, Rick.
Yeah, I've just seen one there from Helen Gell about your family member making munitions. That's quite closer to home for me as well. My grandmother made munitions in Manchester, and my dad always used to say, you know, she looked a little bit yellow, and I think it's down to the bauxite that was in the munitions. So
The what?
I think it's called bauxite. It's a chemical they use in bombing. I'm sure someone will correct me, but it just goes to show that, you know, it was a war effort. It was, you know, women just didn't sit at home bringing kids up. They had to work as well. They had to supply their men and their country with munitions, or, you know, whatever else they did to help them, because it was a joint effort for everyone. So, no, really good comment there. And if you got any more, is there anything else I need to look up there, Paul?
Talking about the women left behind.
Yeah.
Asterix is talking about World War I vets. I knew a few World War I vets. That's you know, my grandparents' generation, and so I knew a few. And
yeah, I mean, I used to. I'm a bit of a sadder when it comes to history and stuff like that. So don't ever get me in a conversation in a pub. I might keep you there. My missus will be at the back with an empty glass of wine, going, "I'm here, I'm here," which she does a lot of occasions. But I just see them as, and we all see it when we go down to the reenactments in Lincolnshire. I've only just got back from Lincolnshire this morning as well. So, but it's the greatest generation that's ever walked this planet, you know, First and Second World War. And, you know, hopefully we'll never fight another war again. And as I was talking back there about the war in Ukraine, like I said, that needs to come to an end, because you look at it and it's just young people killing young people they've never met. So, but I might repeat myself in the video. I've not seen the edit, so I'm watching this for the first time as well. But it's great to see these comments. I know the video will come out just as a video without us talking over it. Paul will probably put that up later or tomorrow. But if you're not seeing it live, please put some comments, and we will get back to you. Appreciate you watching as well.
imagine how many Lancasters went down.
Oh.
How many of our guys were POWs over there, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of guys in Lancasters went down over Germany, and
A lot. Even my great uncle, which I'll be talking about in a future video, who was is mentioned on Sale Cenotaph. I've got all this history about him flying and being shot and killed over Germany. So war affects everyone, whether economically or directly through injury or death. War affects everyone.
there's your mate Rick Pratt saying hello.
All right, Ricky lad.
Yeah, the Lancasters. The numbers are just insane.
You see, I actually watched a couple of things, watching them being destroyed. I'm like, oh my, how can you destroy this beautiful bird? But you know, war had finished, and
Yep.
they were just useless then. But if you ever get the chance, it's called the Battle of Britain Memorial Flights in Coningsby, Lincolnshire, to have a look. have a look at Just Jane at East Kirby as well. You can actually get inside that. It's just like a flying coffin. You know, you can imagine 6, 7, 8 people being inside these Lancasters. Not all of them had, more than one pilot because of how thin we were with pilots at the time. So, you know, if the pilot was shot, the plane's going down with the crew.
That's it.
You know, but
One pilot.
I'll talk about that in a future video if you get really bored, by the way.
All right, let's get back.
And then spoke to one of the locals, and he said the Lancaster, which is actually known as Papa Alpha 474, which is its call sign as you ever look on flight radar.
Okay.
And it was flying together with the Canadian Lang. And when I saw them, just that sound of, you know, I don't know, of defence, freedom, or just fighting back, and that's what it felt like. And yeah, it was a special moment, but there were thousands of enthusiasts looking at both Lancasters, and it was a great time. And I hope, you know, it's 11 years since they were there, and I hope that they come back again, and I hope Just Jane flies, so we have 3 Lancasters together.
Yeah. So where are we headed now?
We're going to go to the main road up near Denzil Gardens, and there's a little monument. It's not there now, and I was going to see if there's any parts of that monument still there. But I'll tell you a little bit more when we get there. But it was a quite significant little monument that was built. There was 2 of them built, and reminded the German prisoners of back home.
Built by the prisoners.
Built by the prisoners, yeah.
So that's the golf course down that way, right?
Yeah, that's the public right of way. You can go down there. There's a couple of ways in. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk down to the entrance of Denzil Gardens, and the opposite side is where the Bavarian castle was situated. So we're approaching the entrance to Denzil Gardens, and according to the archives, directly across the road from there, the Germans in their spare time wanted to build a piece of home. So they decided to build away from home.
So is that the same little walking trail we were on? The little
Yeah, you can get to it. So
that leads to it.
as you can see, the sign on there, which is a little bit faded now, is Dunham Town. And part of that walk we were on earlier takes us into Dunham Town, and again you can see crowd. It's just, like you're with one with nature. You're just walking through there and just taking in anything you can see. Robins, blackbirds, rook, the odd fox. So according to the material they have in front of us, and this may be of some significance because it looks like there's an old roadway.
Yeah.
And this would have either led into the prisoner of war camp or the military camp, but as you can see now it's been barricaded and cordoned off.
Yeah,
so
this was definitely an entrance or exit.
This was the site of where the Bavarian castle was. So what's this? For bits of stone. So yeah, it was constructed a substantial model of a Bavarian castle, and it was the opposite to the entrance of Denzil House, which is behind me. It was mainly made of bricks and that concrete block could have been part of it, and dirt, and it's still here. I'm going to see if there's any more. As you see, it's all overgrown now, but there is some stone there. I believe that when it was deconstructed, people used to come here and take bit in the gardens for rockeries.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have missed it if you came here. It would have been there. But people's attitudes were a little bit different then. It would have been common knowledge that it was a prisoner of war camp.
And it was just something to do.
Yeah, something to do.
Something to pass the time while you're in prison.
Yeah.
Something to occupy your mind and your hands, and
Yeah.
like you said, a little reminder of back home.
And further up here is Charcoal Road. And I believe there was another castle built by the German prisoners of war. I think they've gone as far as they could with the previous one, and they built another one, but it was a bit more secluded and not really visible for the road like this one was. I used to come when I was a kid, and that took me back to when I saw the graffiti on the trees, and never thought anything of it. Never thought anything of it until I came here and actually saw the dates that were wrote on the trees, or written, and
Early 40s.
yeah, and then going into 45, 46, 40, 47,
And that
because
was
before the camp was given back to Stanford. And then I started to realise that it was by German prisoners of war, and I just thought it was just young youth, years before me, just scratching and carving the name into trees,
right.
which people do.
Rick was just pointing out that just over that way is Watch Hill Castle. Doesn't seem like it, but it's just over that way. That was the Martin Bailey Castle. Oh, the traffic. It's nice to get away from the sound of the traffic.
So this will follow the line parallel to Charcoal Road, which is to my left. So I don't know where the second Bavarian castle was, but I'm sure some of your researchers and people out there will know where it is. And with any story that goes on mine or Paul's videos, anything that anyone can add to it adds to the story, which is great, because there's only so much you can add. There's only so much you can say in a video. And I saw quite a lot of work by David Miller, and he's put a lot of research into the Altrincham area and also this prisoner of war camp.
Well, if people don't preserve their memories, they're gone.
Exactly.
If it's not written down or recorded for posterity in some way, and I guess this is some way of recording posterity or posterity.
What I found is when I was taught history at school, it was always through a book, and this is what a Roman looked like, this is what a medieval person looked like, this is what and books can only tell you something, and you have to then use your own imagination to see it. And when you record something like this,
so is this just an incidental stone here?
It probably was
somewhat of an arrangement here.
It is, it's been worked. More than likely from, looks like it may have had a watercourse on it and part of an ornamental garden. Or could it be part of this Bavarian castle? I don't know. I'm sure someone out there will know. But yeah, and there will be a reason why. It's just that that's lost in history.
I don't think those rocks grew there.
No.
in situ, I believe the scientists call that.
Yeah. Some of these trees aren't old enough.
No, it has to be at least 100 years old, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be 100 years old.
Because it'd have to be your initials in.
Yeah.
And the carving was done 80 years ago, so had to be at least a year or so.
So when you're looking at the trees, you're not looking to the left of it. The trees have grown up and the graffiti's grown up with it.
I don't think that's how trees work.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that 6,000 people.
6,000 prisoners.
6,000 prisoners, mainly
Wow.
German and Italian prisoners were here. Like I said, originally in October 1943, the American troops were here, so they would have had training done here. But like I said, in 1944, Lord Stamford, the owner of the land, formed the camp into a prisoner of war camp. And at its peak, there were over 200 huts in here, so they would have been over here and heading all the way back over there.
To our right here.
Yeah. And it was here until the end of 1948 when all the prisoners were repatriated. And I just wondered what they went back to. You know,
Out of Germany left, was there?
no. Most of the cities were just laid to waste, and you know, they were out there looking for the families, and a lot of them were killed. And I always say, when you look back, it was young men killing young men who had never met each other before.
Well, I just wanted to stop it there. This image, I've never seen or thought about this before, but that's, you know, that's 9/11.
Mm.
Right? All the people that were lost in the Trade Center.
Yeah.
People posting on, because nobody knew where, you know, 3,000 something people. Did they make it? So people posting, you know, where are you, son? You know, where are you?
Where to find
Are you still alive? Are you out there? You know? And that's what this is. This is.
And there's no space on there. They're just putting, you know, letters on top of it. That's how desperate people were to find the families and loved ones. You know, because that's what they go to work for every day. That's what they went to work for. You know.
Yeah.
Sad, really. It's sad. You know my opinions on war and unnecessary wars, but you know, I hope there was some good luck stories on there as well, because I've said it in a future, you know, a previous video, because all I ever see is war or someone getting killed or shot. I just want to see good luck stories, something where someone found someone or someone nursed them back to life. You know, something, you know, that shows that mankind is a good person. It's just not a killing machine, a hating machine. But yeah, it's sad to see that. But yeah, 9/11, 5,000 people in one day. Horrific.
I never ever thought about this. You know, like this particular clip that we're looking at here now is I can't remember what it's called, but it's about putting Germany back together at the end of the war. It's right, you know, 1945, 1946, right there. And yeah, I mean, that's incredible. That's, you know, it's like posting, you know, did anybody see my dad? Serial number, whatever, you know, he was with so-and-so regiment or whatever. That's what all those things are. Incredible. So sad. It's something I've never thought of, but obviously that's what it is, and that's so sad. Like we were saying, you know, it's like if you had to choose to be a prisoner of war, you would definitely choose a British prisoner of war camp. We wouldn't want to be in a Japanese POW camp or a Russian POW camp. You know, you'd want to be in a British one or
Yeah.
a British one in Canada, because a lot of them were in Canada as well. A lot of German POWs.
So there wasn't, you know, you hear that animosity with football. We're going to go to that in a short while, but the people that and the prisoners that were here were welcomed into families. They had meals with them. They helped them work in the gardens. They helped them work with the local farms around here, producing produce. And they also, to make money, they'd use some of the make wooden objects, you know, like cigarette boxes or toys, exchange them for cigarettes, which is the currency in any institution where you're incarcerated. Even now, cigarettes is the currency.
Mm-hmm.
So the currency here was what you could make, and very, very skilled men. So many German and Italian prisoners were, and they made Christmas cards. They made lots of things for the land in front of us here, and they got a small reward, which they would get cigarettes or maybe some cake or something like that, you know, to make it worthwhile. So, you know, it's a long time. If you were at the beginning and been here a number of years, you would have got quite bored. So you'd have looked for something to do. So working and making things, you know, in an evening when you sat down, because they couldn't go to the pub, there was no alcohol. So they just made what they could and sold it. And I think that's brilliant. That's learning to cope with being incarcerated. But they were treated well. They were fed well. There was no mistreatment of these prisoners. They were well nourished, and they weren't persecuted by any of the locals. So, you know, that shows you what the British people are like.
The children always had some presents early from Father Christmas, and we had a very big one, which somehow I knew that it was made by the German prisoners, and that was a doll's house.
It was just, I was having a look around at the trees and see if there was anything, but, you know, this type of tree wouldn't carve anything into. Some of these trees are old enough.
Yeah, as you say, they're not the type...
fork in the trail here.
You want one with smooth bark to your initials. Although I guess they have smooth bark when they're younger.
Yep. Yeah, if these trees could tell a story.
Right, like how old is that size of a tree?
Oh, that's going to be over 100 years old.
What kind of tree is it?
Yeah.
Is that an oak?
Yeah, it's an oak tree.
We don't have oak trees like this in my part of the world. And you can see it's a big tree.
So this just follows the perimeter of the golf course to our right, doesn't it? So, which I've seen graffiti on.
That'd be the type, yeah.
This is...
Encoder is overloaded. This is unfortunate. It's skipping and stuttering. Like I said, this is not the way to watch this video, but it's nice to see your comments. And Helen, that's so true. There were so many German POWs that didn't want to go back and didn't go back. And there are some photos near the end of some of the guys, could be the guy you knew, coming up soon, of some of the German POWs that didn't go back from this camp. Yeah, why would you want to go back? It was in ruins.
Yeah, like I said, it was... they dropped a lot of bombs on there.
Oh yeah,
Dropped a lot.
and I mean the whole ideology, if anybody had bought into that stuff, had just gone. It's all gone, all gone. Everything you believed in, everything you if they believed in that stuff, right, which A lot of them didn't. I mean, there's a big difference between a German and a Nazi
That was
back
worlds,
then,
worlds
right?
apart.
Yeah. So let's hope this is going to play a little better. What's Darren saying? Yes, that's very interesting what you're saying about the plane up on the peaks there. Yeah, keep going. We don't mind. We don't mind hearing that.
The type of tree Mark is,
Yeah.
can't decipher if anything.
These trees are almost too young, aren't they?
That's
How old
probably
is
about
the
the right
tree?
age, that one.
How old is a tree that size?
It's got to be getting up to 100. It's quite substantial.
I mean, it's a big tree, but it's 80 years ago, right? So, is that tree 100 years old?
I say it's getting.
It's all bits. You maybe. It's all healed over. There's Jim.
I think it is. As soon as you love Jim, I think. Did they ever stay together?
That certainly looks like an R.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
There's something else there. Letterish. You can just see some ghosts here. L H N 7. Definitely E.
Yeah, and then trees around here will be signs of board POWs carving their bit of history into the trees, and these people have long gone now. They took the story of being here back to their families, or if they were there, people they talked about in the pubs when they were back home with their friends. And I don't think it would have been too bad a memory. There's nothing, there's nothing worse than being having your freedom taken away from you. But it wasn't a bad place.
Better than the Russian front.
Better than Russian front.
So this road looks like it had some surfacing done. Back there was like stones.
Yeah, but look at the banks. They've been raised. So at one point, it would have had possibly vehicles going up and down here. It'd been purposely built.
Willie's Jeep's driving on the wrong side of the road.
100%. Well, it's that narrow they'll get away with it. They're neither left or right. So just over there are some of the remains of the purpose-built huts that the prisoners lived in, but there would have been hundreds more. I mean, it was up to 200 huts, but the remains are over here. The platform's on there, but because it's a private golf course, I'm not going to go in there and look at it. I'm going to leave people to enjoy the day.
Yeah, so if there is a member of the golf club that would sit in and show us so many things,
yeah,
that'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you've left it as it is and you've not disturbed it, and it's still there, is detriment to how you've respected the land that you now you govern. So looking onto the golf course towards the clubhouse. So they used to have roll call down there. So that's when we're there. Like you see in all the great British films when they count the prisoners and they find out some have gone missing, and the next thing all hell breaks loose and they go and find them. But the prisoners here didn't seem to want to escape. I don't think they had anything to escape to, but they turned this into a football pitch, and German and Manchester teams would play here. It probably started the rivalry to this day that you saw, that you see in England-Germany games. And one famous Man City goalkeeper, he wasn't imprisoned here, but he actually played here. Man City's goalkeeper, and he organised football teams here. Some of the Manchester regiments played here, so it was just rivalry rather than trying to hit each other with guns and bullets. Just played with a football and shook hands. Like, I always remember one of the things, and Paul did it in one of his videos, the Christmas truce, where both sides are in the trenches and it's Christmas and no one wants to kill each other, and Christmas is not about being together and being with a family. And then they organised that football pitch and played a game in above the ground of the trenches. The thing happened here. They played football, but not just play football. They also had concerts here, with their own musicians. So they had things like Mozart nights or Schubert nights, and a lot of the couples and a lot of the prisoners, when they left here, some decided to stay, and they've married local society and forgot about the absolute horrors of war. And I don't know how you can ever forget about it, but this is probably a safer place to be rather than being anywhere in France or in Germany or on the Russian border. I'm not no coward, but knowing what happened then, I'd rather have stayed here. I think the huts that were built in the mound up in front kept away from, if there was any heavy rain, if the ground got boggy. But it's nice that people can come together and play football as a mutual rivalry rather than hurting each other. And now we're great friends with Germany, and a lot of the European countries are all joined together as one to make sure that as a NATO alliance, to limit the chance of war. Now you attack them all, which is a deterrent for anyone to attack, and I just hope we never see that ever again. And I hope that the war in Ukraine comes to an end, and it needs young men and women fighting each other.
This is still one of those places that looks as though it has never had interesting thought in its life. A perfectly ordinary patch of England doing its best to appear forgettable. And yet for a brief moment in the middle of the 20th century, it was anything but ordinary. It was an American base, then a prisoner of war camp, and a stop point in the lives of who traveled a very long way to end up here. Today you can spend a pleasant few hours golf ball about without ever knowing any of that. But once you know, this quiet, unremarkable place starts to look just a little less forgettable. There's nothing here now to suggest what this place once was. No fences, no guards, no reason to stop and look twice. And perhaps that's fitting, because for the men who passed through here, this was never to be remembered, only enjoyed as enemies, stayed as prisoners, and left as men returning to a world that no longer resembled the one they had left behind. History often survives in monuments and museums, but sometimes it lingers quietly beneath our feet. In places we play golf, walk the dog, or pass without a thought. And if nothing else, places like this remind us that the distance between us and them can be surprisingly short, given enough time. All of which is to say, this very ordinary patch of ground has led a far more interesting life than it lets on. So what do you think of that?
I was actually watching that for the first time. Like some of the viewers, like I say, your editing skills are far better than mine. I'm a bit bit rustic, but it's yeah, you've done it justice. And you know, when you're going up and down there, especially if you're going through the woods, have a look and see if you can find some of that graffiti on the trees. It also, if you go over to Dunham Park as well, you will see the graffiti in the trees, and it has like grown up as the trees grown. So some of it is you know just normal lovers putting their own little bits on there, but some of it is from the prisoner of war camp as well. So if you go in there with the dog and the kids, have a little look round, have a look round at some of these trees. You know the older trees, and you will actually you'll actually see it. But you know when you walk these paths, you just think just take a thought of what that used to be. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you research David Miller and the work that he's actually done on that prisoner of war camp is remarkable, very methodical and remarkable. So just have a search on Google, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's like we're going into New Year's now, and Christmas. Feels like Christmas is over, doesn't it?
Oh, that was.
But can you imagine spending Christmas in a foreign country in a prisoner of war camp?
With no central heating,
no central heating,
no bargain booze.
Yeah.
You know, just you're friends with the people that were around you, so your comrades were your friends. But you know, I've not heard of any stories of any attacks or any Germans doing any wrongdoing in the area. You know, I think they showed the respect that we showed them.
There was one story I saw of a guy that nipped out to the cinema,
right?
And he wasn't harshly dealt with, but he broke out and went to the cinema, came back after the movie. Must have, and they were free to roam about somewhat, and but it's just incredible. I mean, some of them were there for years.
Yeah, they were.
What was it, 43?
Yeah,
1943.
They were starting to come back 44 after the D-Day landings. That's when you had a mass amount of prisoners coming, and then, coming into the camps and like.
Until 48.
Yeah, what do we do with them? I did mention at the beginning. I actually do some. I do a bit of fishing as well, but I do quite a bit of metal detecting. I used to do quite a little bit around Dunham Massey, and I used to find American cents and American coins, and I used to think, how did these get into the field? So that was just self-explanatory. I did not know that was in an American base before. So they obviously walked the fields. They might have hooked up with one of the locals, which was quite common at the time. And I used to find American cents. I found quite a few. I've just found it strange, but knowing what it was answered that question for me.
Yeah, a lot of Americans that stayed there. And you said there was 10,000 after, not 6,000.
Yeah, there were 10,000.
10,000.
10,000 prisoners of war. That's Italian and German. So it was quite a significant. You know, it would have been like refugees today. You know, we would have had to fed them, clothe them, you know, give them medical treatments, everything that we got as well. So, yeah. But like I said, if you look at Dave Miller's work, you'll see some good luck stories in there. How they married the locals, you know, because we lost so many men, and it's just a dark history that we struggle to get over today, knowing what happens. These films that we have on the propaganda films, the Dam Busters and anything, Bridge Over River Kwai. There's so many war films that portray different types. But yeah, have a wander down there. I would say be respectful to the owners of the golf course. It is a private golf course, so I wouldn't ask anyone to go on there and start looking and searching. Just be respectful. We've got the footpaths around it, and there are some clues on there if you go and have a look.
I'm sure there is a list, Darren. I haven't seen one. Rick, have you seen a list of all the camps in the area?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few. There was an overspill. I remember going as a kid down Sunderland Lane, and as you go around that sharp bend to the left where United people sit and wait to get signatures off United players, the field to the left, there were old MOD type buildings, and some the overspill people were put there as well. But there were quite a few. You were getting so many prisoners. You imagine a whole nation surrendering. That's a lot. That's a lot of people to start bringing over. So they processed them, and when war was over, they had the choice of what they wanted to do.
A lot of them ended up in Canada and the States as well.
Yeah, in America, yeah.
And there's a great story of the Germans landing in North America and being put in North American prisoner of war camps, American and Canadian camps.
What were they like?
And being fed steak.
Oh, well, that'd be about right, wouldn't it? That'd be about right.
The breadbasket of the world, so to speak. The fields of amber grain and.
So when you strip it down to individuals, they don't really want to go out and kill someone. No one is really built like that. I know that some people are, but when you actually strip back, so when you go on holiday and you speak to someone in a different language, you start to communicate. It's fun. It's great. You don't get that animosity which you see in the media. Remember years ago you were talking about the Germans used to put towels on the benches and people used to take them off. But a lot of things are fueled by media. But when you actually get down to speak to them, because I spent some time in Cologne, and in central Cologne I went to the cathedral there, which is unbelievably immense. The people around there are really, really respectful, and I held no animosity towards them, and hopefully they don't to us. It's just history, just history.
Was there one near the airport? I've heard tales of an Italian POW camp around there.
It is possible. I've not seen it, but if I went searching for it, it is very possible. They try to segregate the nationalities because they all have different needs, but there will be some secret ones. I've seen some secret military bases in Cheshire as well. So just in farmers' fields. But I'll probably do something on that at a later date. But it's quite stark and how secretive our government and military were.
I've heard about something down Britannia Road. That's here in Sale for anybody not aware of the area. But something down Britannia Road. There was something POW related down there. I don't know if it was.
I'm not aware of that. It's
no. Something on the list of 1,000 things to look into.
Oh God, there's so many.
Yeah,
there's so many. But I really appreciate anyone who's turned out. Again, it would just be a full video just to watch without me boring the hell out of you because I'm good at that. But it just it's just nice to share and to have a look at it. So many people weren't aware of it. A lot of people were as well. But anything you can add to the story would be absolutely great, especially personal stories. And we'll probably do an update sometime in the new year about some of the findings. And we really appreciate anyone who's turned up and watched it. So
lots of things to look at in the new year.
God,
Still working on that mill in Ashton-upon-Mersey. So
yeah.
anybody Chat won't let me post a link. It often will not let you post links, unfortunately. Um, Not of my doing. I don't know why it does that. It won't let you post links sometimes. Um,
You can post the full video though after that, and you can share it through.
no,
there.
this is Asterix saying
Ah.
he's trying to post a link. Um, yeah, it's not of my doing. It's nothing I've turned off or on that stops you from doing that. Who looks like a Sail West type of fella?
Who's that?
Benny Bagschlap is saying, you look like you're from the race course. Or do I look like I'm from the race course?
Yes.
I don't sound like it, that's for sure.
Yes, Benny. I used to knock around there as a kid around the racecourse. Everyone knows me. I've got older and fatter now, so. But yeah, that would be me. Someone was put a comment. They did use some of the trusted prisoners for labour and buildings in and around Wythenshawe and other surrounding areas. So they should do that today as well. Low offending prisoners should actually be taken out of prison and start cleaning old people's back gardens and painting walls. So if someone then paints over it, they'd learn to think, well, hang on, I painted that wall, to learn a little bit of respect. So that's just me just blabbering on. But yes, I did grow up in South West. I did have a lot of friends around the racecourse. Absolutely. I've done a video on that. The great racecourse estate had its own manor because it was off Manor Avenue. So some of you might be related to lords and ladies. Only joking, but great people, great community centre, which I've said there, great community spirit. It's miles away from what it used to be, but I'm just digressing because tonight was mainly about the Dunham Massey prisoner war camp. But like I said in a few videos, if there's something you want us to have a look at, or if you've got like a house that's got a little bit of history, we can find out. I have got friends who are genealogists who can research and find out information, and if it makes a good story, we'll definitely put it out there.
Absolutely. There's lots more stuff to come, lots of local stuff and all around the country stuff. Content, videos. So I'm going to make the video public there now. The video without us talking. So if you want to watch an uninterrupted video version of the video you just watched, please do, and leave your comments and stuff, and like and subscribe and all those YouTube things, right?
I always say that's absolutely free, Paul.
Absolutely free.
Does it cost a penny?
As is Rick's channel, Richard Ainsworth, not Rick Ainsworth, Richard Ainsworth. So I'll put a link to Rick's channel in the description there as well.
Yeah, your thumbs up will help to promote the channels, and any comments, anything we can follow up on as well, that would be absolutely great. But I say I'll babble on all night. But if you take your time to watch the video without me and Paul talking at the back, it's just nice to touch base with people that are interested in local history, and we're able to answer questions live on this live stream. Paul does a lot of live streams throughout this year, and we're doing it then, so it'd be great just to bob in and just add support and put some comments on there as well. But
yeah, we got a few guests coming up in the new year, and haven't settled on a day for the live stream, a day or a time yet, so it might be sporadic, depending on when people are available to do such things. Have to work around their schedules. Anyway, I think that's it. Is there anything else to say?
No, I've been waiting for this to be done, Paul, because I know that people would be actually interested in the history of that. We know it's got other things on there, like a tumulus or whatever, but people, whether it is or not, I don't know. But it's got history beyond what we've.
Yeah, we never mentioned that, did we?
There's more. There's more to that. There's more. But thank you for everyone that's.
Hopefully, someone will escort us out there.
What? The guns.
No, not that kind of escort. And show us around, because there are some things out there to see.
Oh yeah, without shadow. Without shadow. Yeah. Yeah, I found bullets and all sorts with the metal detectors on there. So
yeah, for sure.
I found some old coins as well, but that's by and by. But that's enough for me, and really appreciate you tuning in and listening, and really appreciate Paul for doing justice to the video. Like I said, I've been mithering for months to get it done, but it's finally out there. So that's me over and out, and you have a good evening. Have a great New Year, by the way. I always say try not to get too drunk. Absolutely get bladdered. Don't worry about it. All right, we'll see you on the next one.
We will see you on the next one, and thanks for dropping by. That was a great time. I had a blast. We got to do this more often.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next year.